Twilight Book Club. And I have this as my very first note. Introduce yourself so we never forget to do it again. For those listening, I am Sarah.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Keiki.
And we are What the Forks. Awesome. So now we've done that. So we actually have some really fun Twilight news going on this week.
Craziness.
I know. First, I just want to say that Midnight Sun has hit the bestseller list in both the UK and the US for selling 1 million books in a week.
Very proud of you, Stephanie.
We knew it was going to happen.
We knew it was in you.
We knew.
The Twihards have not gone anywhere.
We're still here.
And now we have money.
We're not begging mom and dad anymore.
No, I don't have to like, Mom, can you give me $20 for a book? No, I have my own money. I can buy it. Multiples if I want and gift it to people. Like, this is what I could do now.
Yes. That's why it's on my Kindle and my Audible, and I got the hard copy. Because
Bam.
You know what? I need to read this.
You are one-handedly putting this on the bestseller list.
I got money now. She got money.
And also, so I saw this on Twilight Reddit before it started blowing up in articles. Stephanie Meyer has been doing a Books A Million tour. You remember Books A Millions? Those were things.
Like, vaguely?
It's like a small Barnes & Noble. That kind of a deal.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that. They were the ones that were like in the mall.
Yeah.
She's been doing a book tour.
God, they still exist? Sorry, I'm just having a moment. Like,
I know. I was like, Books A Million? Okay. But she's been doing this book tour to kind of like talk about and answer fan questions as we all have them. And she has said that she is working on 2 new Twilight books.
Do y'all remember Crown books? Sorry, I'm just going down memory lane now.
Penguin books?
Yes.
Yes, I remember all of them. They actually make Disney Crown. Oh, sorry. Back to topic.
She is not going to write any more books from Edward's perspective.
Okay.
Because it was really hard for her because she like puts herself in the mindset of that character, which I can appreciate.
Well, I mean, Bella's the biggest self-insert I have ever read in my life. So
yeah, fair enough. But she said like writing from Edward's perspective was kind of torturous because he's so tortured and so anxiety ridden, and she lived like that for the last decade while writing the book, and she didn't want to do it again. So feel you, girl. But these are her words. She says, there are 2 more books I think in the world that I want to write. I have to get them outlined. Oh, I have them outlined and a chapter written, I think, for the first one, so I know it's there. I'm not ready to do that right now. I want to do something brand new. For me, a lot of joy of writing comes from creating, and I really want the new worlds, or to do new worlds and new rules and new mythology, because mythology is kind of my thing. So they're there, they're outlined, they're ready to go. However, one of these books will take place 4 years after the events of Breaking Dawn. One of these books will have Freaky Fred from the short Second Life of Bree Tanner. He will return for whatever the final book entails. I didn't read that. So
I don't remember Freaky Fred at all. I think I did read that. I own it. I don't know if I read it.
The plot of one of them. Oh, did you have a question? You're just saying questions.
Yeah, questions. So did she say like?
Girl, I have more.
Okay.
Let me finish what
World
she's saying.
World building is her favorite, though. I take offense to that statement, Stephanie.
Let me finish what she says the plot of these books were, and then you can ask questions about the plots of the books. I thought that was coming.
Who's read a lot of Tolkien. Don't even start with your world building, S. Meyer.
Fair enough. Where am I? Oh, the plot will be concerned with the Volturi returning for their revenge. And half the story will be narrated by Renesmee. Even though these books are in her mind, she does want to concentrate on the other novels, as I said. And she has 23 partial novels already ready to go. And she also says...
23?
I know.
Is this like a Babysitter's Club situation?
Girl, I don't even know. But that's not New Moon. 23? Those are like Otherworld books ready to go. Only 2 of these will be Twilight. And the book will also be partly... Sorry, this is in the Reddit post. Jacob and Renesmee's story-ish. So it says half the story will be narrated by Renesmee. And so we're getting that Jacob Renesmee book that I guess some people freaking want that I don't understand.
Who wants that?
Why?
Who wants that book? Nobody wants that book.
So,
and if it's 4 years later, then Renesmee still isn't full grown.
She's not full grown.
She's still not full grown.
We'll get there, but Nahul, Narwhal, Nahau.
I think it's Noelle.
Noelle?
Oh, Noelle?
That's what I think it is.
You know what I always hear as a fan of 90s R&B? I hear New Edition with him go, Nahul, in every song. That's what his name is in my head. Like, yeah, he says it took him 7 years to get full grown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Renesmee still won't be full grown.
She will be 4.
She'll be 4,
Which
and
makes
have
her
the body
maybe
of like
a 12-year-old.
I don't know.
I don't know.
'cause if-
What's half of like a 23-year-old?
Well, so like he's
She's like
full,
16, maybe. I don't know.
Well, what is full grown, right? He looked like maybe I'm gonna say full grown's 21.
All right, yeah,
Right?
let's just go
So
with that. Full
21.
grown is 21.
So she's
He didn't
halfway
become-
there. So she's 10. 10 and a half.
Y'all, I don't
math.
like it.
I don't
That's
like it
nasty.
either.
I don't need
This
this.
isn't the fanfic
I
I
don't
wrote
need
of,
this in
like
my
in this
life.
next coming chapter.
I know, but we're getting a Renesmee Jacob book.
Who asked for this?
Stephanie also said that because we brought up, I think Jordan, you're the one who brought up ghost writers to just write these things.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do that. She said that in the event that she is not capable to write these herself, she will give, she doesn't even have it yet, a basic outline and bullet points of what would have happened in this story to her editor for the editor to put out those bullet points and story lines.
At that point, just hire a ghostwriter because we know that people are going to fill in the holes anyway.
Yes.
And as someone, first of all, I have multiple things to say. As somebody who writes myself, to say that she has 23 books on her computer, or like, that's like me saying, I have 4 full albums written on my computer. No, I have a lot of files that I've started and just that are sitting there. They're not finished. They're just like random ideas that I shit out on the computer to get them out of my head. You can't go around saying that you have 23 more books, Stephanie. That's not how this fucking works, first of all.
I know.
Secondly, will you just like pick someone? Because people are going to fill in those holes anyway. I've already warned my sibling, Brian, that in the time of if I have an untimely death, that he and my best friend Molly are to take my computer and sit down together and figure out this is good and the world should have this and Jordan was on some shit and nobody else needs to see this ever.
Yeah. No, I think that's crazy.
Yes.
And also I think there's so many, like, she only wants to do 2 Twilight books, but there's so many amazing characters,
right,
in Twilight.
There's so many people that I would love to explore.
Again,
Twilight.
I would rather explore the Cullen family. Like, if you're gonna if you got 23 books, Stephanie, make it a TV series. Okay,
Right.
Give us the bullet points. Give it to D&D because they were able to finish Game of Thrones. So
The
like,
thing is, I don't like Jacob so much that I would literally skip him and Renesmee's story and move on to their future child. Like, that's how I feel.
You think they're gonna have a future child?
I would.
Is Renesmee
I still
fertile?
want my Carly. My Charlie and Carla.
I know. Well, Renesmee's middle name is Carly, which I didn't realize until reading this.
I
but-
forgot about it until we read
but
this
I was
part.
like,
And
why
I
didn't
like,
they do it the
yeah.
other way around?
Carly Renesmee would have been a better name.
Way better name.
Ugh.
Whatever. I was thinking like Carly Jacob, CJ,
Yeah.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
I hear you. I just think there's way more better characters, and I think we should just give her a list. And we're gonna make a video of all the better options of stories that aren't Jacob and Renesmee that she should write. Yes?
Yes.
Make a video.
How
Make
far
it
can I
happen.
go?
Well, I don't
I
care.
don't care.
Great.
We're
Because,
gonna-
you know,
Jacob and Renesmee shouldn't
after
have.
finishing this book and learning about shapeshifters, I'm going to tell you, my mind ran wild.
I have things to say.
I
tell
have
ya.
things.
All right, well, that is the news. We're getting possibly 2 new books,
Ugh.
sometimes the next maybe 20 years, and some other stuff written by Stephanie Meyer. I didn't read any
The
of her
Host Part
other.
2?
She doesn't want to do a Host sequel.
Well, she shouldn't have done the
Yeah.
first one.
She's like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. That's
flopped.
done.
It
She's
flopped.
like,
It was
I'm
a flop.
yeah.
It flopped,
I never
it
read
flopped.
it. I've never read any
It
of
was
her other
very
stuff.
awkward. I only read The Host. I didn't read anything else.
Yeah,
But
because she's got like
it's
another
just
series or something.
weird.
Is it worth it, listeners? Please tell us if it's even worth like diving into.
The movie was real bad too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Oh
See,
my
this is
God.
where I'm at. Isn't the guy who reads Midnight Sun in The Host?
I think so.
Jacob Abel
Yeah.
or whatever his name is.
You want to know the weird part about The Host is that she made a big deal about how it's an adult novel, and I still don't think there was any fucking in that book.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't remember
Yeah.
sex in that book.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it's an adult novel, but there was no nipples.
But I mean, for her, there was
Just
no
give me
nipples.
one
Those
titty.
There was no nipples.
Titties or GTFO.
Titties are PG-13 even, you know, but still, nothing.
I mean, they were in the 80s. I don't know about now.
No, they are again.
Are they still?
They are again, yeah.
Okay, I'm here for it. Give me all the boobies.
Titties are PG-13.
Just give
Yeah.
me one titty.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High Girl, full frontal almost was like PG.
I just remember being 13 and like seeing a titty in a movie and being like, "Oh, titties."
It's a big deal. Everyone likes titties.
Yes,
All right.
man or woman alike.
Yeah.
We all love them.
Man, woman, baby, dogs, titties.
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 Is that the episode title?
Titties. Yeah, there it is, Ernie. Write it down.
Titties are GTFO.
All right, let's
let's
talk about the
dive
actual
in.
book.
Let's dive in. So this episode discusses the second Bella section of the book through the end. So she wakes up.
Woo!
Bitch,
Girl,
wakes up.
first of all, we could have split this into 2 parts. This was a long section.
It is very long.
I did not
and
realize that.
nothing happened.
I didn't realize how long it was. And this, yes, you're right. This was the inverse. Like every other Twilight book, nothing happens in the first 2/3, and then the last third is really good. This was the opposite, where like, all the good stuff happened in the first 2/3, and now I just got to get to the fucking end.
Yeah. I do appreciate Stephanie Meyer saying, like, and admitting that the movie finished her story better than she did. And she said, you know, she had said she wished she had thought of that ending. I was like, yeah.
Well, it's so funny because I remember knowing that the movie changed the last act dramatically from the book, but I couldn't remember how they differed. And then when I was reading it last night, I wanted to throw this book across the room, and I was like, God, the movie ending was actually so much better.
It's so much better.
We'll get there, but all they do is talk for 35 pages.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's like 2 chapters of just
It
talking.
would have been the worst movie scene.
There were a
It's
lot.
like we went
ever.
to court.
There's
mediation. It's like a divorce.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
I'm so bored. Just give me half.
Order. Yeah, no, there was just a lot of talking. Every chapter was like, there's a whole chapter of her thinking of how she's going to talk to her dad.
Right? Like, just, it was so long.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was just like, okay, so let's start.
She
Bella
starts.
wakes up.
She wakes up.
I do love how they, I think Breaking Dawn Part 2 also is just done really well, the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, she wakes up and she's like,
You better like hold back on that total comment because remember, computer generated.
that's the only issue, the fucking baby face.
Okay, but it's
okay.
Okay, we'll get there. But she
Also,
wakes up and
I couldn't remember. I was like, why did they split this into 2 parts? That's so stupid. Ever since Harry Potter did it, every teenage series thinks they have to split the end into 2 parts. And I was like, they didn't need to do that. And then I read the book again and I was like, oh, they really did need to break Breaking Dawn into 2 parts. But Hunger Games did not.
I agree with you. Hunger Games did not.
Did not.
So she wakes up. She is a vampire.
We're ever going to talk about this book?
I know.
She wakes up. She's a vampire.
She's a vampire.
We get the birth scene from her point of view.
And I actually really like it. I think it did a really good job of describing what it's like and how she hears things, sees things, feels things.
I love that those dum-dums gave her too much morphine.
Oh my God.
Like, it cracks me up.
Because they didn't realize.
Well, and it also reminds me of the story of my own birth that my mother has told multiple times. And to make it very, very short, she was on bed rest for months, and they had her on the inversion table where she has to lay down and like it moves, you know.
Yeah.
And so they had given her the epidural. They tipped the table to where her head was down, so the epidural traveled the wrong direction.
Oh my God.
So she got numb on the top half, and so she was laying there trying to wave her arms and tell the doctor something's wrong. And finally the doctor leans over to her and he's like, what is going on? And she's like, I'm numb. And the doctor's like, why didn't you say anything? And she's like, I've been waving my arms. And the doctor's like, no, honey, you're just wiggling your fingers. Because she thought she was moving so much, but she was completely knocked out. So all she could do was wiggle her fingers. And that's all I could think about reading this section is that they gave Bella so much morphine that she was
terrifying.
Yeah, it's horrible. Funny now. Because it's 35
It
minutes
is
later.
funny because my mom has bad pregnancy stories too, and there is some injustice in this system.
Oh yes, black
of
women
how the
have
black
a really
woman is
hard
treated
time with pregnancy, and it's
pregnancy.
terrifying. Really makes me rethink having kids. But you're like,
Ain't trying to die.
Yeah, Bella, too much morphine, and she's just laying there miserable, and she's completely conscious. She knows that she's miserable. She knows that she's in pain, but the morphine has deadened enough of her to where she can't even say anything.
And she said that James breaking her legs hurt less. Her pregnancy, the entire pregnancy that wrecked her and broke her spine hurt less. That's how much pain she's in turning into a vampire. And I was like, ugh. And she's just burning alive from the inside out.
Oof. Can you imagine?
No.
I've got a really bad fever, and it's no.
It's so much all she's ever wanted in her whole life was to become a vampire, and she's like, nah, can I just die? Can y'all just
just
dying?
kill
me, I'm over it. I'm done.
Death is enough for me. And then her spine fixes itself, and the burning subsides, and she wakes up, and she's like, wow. And I just like the way that they describe it. All the way that her senses are heightened. She can taste the air. She can hear the radio from a car on the highway. I just thought that all the description was really good.
Yeah. I know the movie gave us a little bit of it when she went out to hunt and she was kind of
running through the
things,
woods.
Noticing things.
But if I could see it in the book's eyes, like I imagined it, I think it would be so cool.
There are things that the movie was better than the book, but there are still things that the movie failed on. And I do think that her heightened vampire senses was one of those things.
It was very glossed over in the movie because she has a little when she wakes up, and as Keiki said, she's got it when she's running through the woods trying to hunt. But also, I like that the movie added permanent makeup.
Yeah,
like
right.
She's transforming, and also she's got like a gold glossy eyeshadow with perfect mascara lashes, pink cheeks, and a permanent lipstick.
Come on,
and some eyeliner.
If you're immortal, do you want to have to beat your face every day? I don't. Like that should be a perk of having an immortal life, that your face is permanently perfect.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the
I
idea, right?
Change my lipstick. Come on.
Well, I feel like
you can still put on a different lip color.
I know, but I feel like that's the point, though. Like, you're flawless without it. You're so stunning without it. Like, the movie gave it to her. Like, she needed it. And to me, that was like, I was like, okay, let's do that. Yeah. Sorry. That's what I thought on that. I like that we still don't know. No one knows or understands why she's like, her newbie instincts are kind of trumped by her like vampire love, and she's like making out with Edward when he's in there. And
well, it's so it's really funny, and this is the note that I wrote down. Like, Edward just touches her face, and they're like concerned about her senses and how she's gonna feel and her desires and blah blah blah, and Edward touches her face and she just goes full on wop. She does. Like, she's like, she's like, oh, I didn't think that I would still feel this way as a vampire. I thought I'd be hungry more than anything, but
she's like, pull out game week.
Yeah, right.
I actually wrote down Sarah was right
about
sticking a hot curling iron into your body, because she's like, hotter, uncomfortable now, too much, like grabbing the wrong end of my curling iron. My automatic response was to drop the scorchingness.
For Jacob?
Yeah.
When she sees Jacob. Yeah, because there's this thing going around TikTok, guys, I love TikTok.
Oh God.
Where everyone was like, she should have been with Jacob. I'm like, but Jacob is like a self-proclaimed furnace.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, he runs at like 200 degrees? I don't know. That's like sticking a curling iron in your vagina. Where at least like, give me the coldness. I'll take, you know what I mean? Take the cold.
I like being a human. I like my human feelings.
The vagina frostbite is on its way.
I don't know. But she has this line where she says the kiss was so good it made her feel guilty. Yeah. Which, again, I just have to get on my liberal high horse and say, fuck your puritanical bullshit. Mm-hmm. Kisses should feel nice, Ben Shapiro's wife.
Poor woman. Poor woman.
Kisses should feel nice.
But I like how like dirty they're kind of being together. He's it's your turn not to break me. And she's like, you've been holding out on me. He's like, yeah, because I would kill you,
right?
Bitch.
And I love how Emmett is in the room just like,
yeah. He's like, hey,
get a room.
So,
get a room.
I'm here. But then all he does the whole time is like, no furniture broken?
Yeah.
What is this? Are you even vampires? Emmett has slowly become my favorite.
Emmett is my favorite again.
Like, about like, in the movie where he's like, Emmett and Rosalie, like, they
it's in the book somewhere.
Too. Yeah, it's in the book too.
Yeah,
like, they had to go
they
somewhere
for like a decade.
Yeah.
And it was like, I couldn't be around them.
So I think that's like why Emmett's like, y'all ain't fucking or what?
I'm also so mad at how she continually lied about how miserable her transformation was. Because God forbid they have to do this to someone else for whatever reason. If Charlie gets old and sick and like that's his only chance of living, or something else ridiculous, and they make this choice again, like
we were watching the movie and Kiki's like, what if they just turn Charlie in like a decade?
Right?
Just like always.
That's
around.
the book that I want. Listen, I want them to turn Charlie about a decade from now and see how he likes vampire living.
I just love him. Gosh, Charlie, why are you the best? I really like, though, like, she's got so many questions, and I appreciate that the movie kind of streamlined this because the book jumps back and forth a lot. So you have her being like, why can't I see my baby? Why don't I feel this way? I need to go hunting, but we're not going hunting yet. I need to, and you're like, what? And then she finally looks at herself in the mirror, and, like, you get her thoughts on what she looks like, and I'm just like, can we just focus?
Right? One train of thought at a time.
Focus book. And then, like, so I'm just like, I apologize if this episode is a little all over the place because the book is all over the place.
Jasper is shook at how like calm she is.
Yeah, I had that note too. I'm like, he's like upset at himself.
Yeah,
he's upset at her. He's upset at the world.
He's like, what's wrong with me?
He has a crisis
I did not
of
have
faith.
this control.
Yeah, he's like, am I just a bad person? Am I just this way because I've always been told this is just how we are? But no, we never get the answer. But I honestly think, and I want to know what you guys think, her choice is what makes all the difference.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that they went into it overly prepared, You know, they had morphine for her. They had a hospital set up. Like, they had all these things. They knew what they were doing. They planned for it. They prepared for it. She had months to be able to make this decision. It's kind of like the difference between an elective surgery and emergency surgery kind of situation where, like,
totally,
if you're going in for elective surgery, or even if you have time to prepare for your surgery, you know, like, I got to have pillows at home. I should probably stock up on some ice cream, like, get me some new comfy sweatpants.
Yeah, it's breast implants versus, like, getting your appendix removed.
Yeah, right?
You know?
You get your appendix removed, you're like, oh, I was just out on a Saturday having a good night.
And then all of a sudden I'm dying in the hospital.
Right?
Yeah.
And you get home, like, the house is still a fucking mess and you don't have anything clean around.
But, you know,
like,
breast implants, you saved, you planned, you picked a date. You know, you knew you were going to be taken care of a certain way. It's that situation.
Sorry, guys. I love that Edward is disappointed that he still can't hear her thoughts. He was really hoping that her transformation would make her
nosy
like,
bastard.
He's like, I just want to know.
I hate that it's such a big deal to him.
Right? I feel like it's that one thing in every relationship. There's that one thing that your partner can't get over,
and that's it.
And that's his one thing. I just want to be able to hear your thoughts.
It's a person who's always like, "What are you thinking about?"
Yeah,
and it's like
none of your business.
Nothing.
God,
this funny meme that I saw 3 hours ago
about pizza, and that I should have washed towels.
Right?
Why?
I have a Deborah Cox song stuck in my head, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Like, well, that's all that's happening. And then we finally, after like 12 chapters, it feels like, we get them to go on their first hunt together.
Which, pause.
Yes.
So at some point, while Bella was knocked out, Alice changes her clothes and puts her in an ice blue silk dress and heels. Which, first of all, why are you putting shoes on somebody who is laying in bed? That's just fucking ridiculous. Secondly, ice blue silk, I have this note written down for when we get even further in the book, but there's too much silk and satin in this book.
There's
and
a
it
lot
drives
of it.
me nuts.
Girl,
It's
Gossamer
Alice's
even
jam.
came up in this
Gossamer
shit.
came back. I wrote that down too. Like,
I was like, Gossamer? Come
Y'all,
on, girl.
Can we get...
They're vampires. This shit ain't durable. It don't breathe. It don't stretch. It don't move.
Can we get some leather? Can we get a nice poly cotton, like...
Even a spandex.
Right?
Yeah.
Like some Lululemon. I know that Lululemon wasn't a thing when this book came out, but still, we need something. That's just... It's like... It's a very basic person's idea of what's glamorous and what rich people dress like.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's, you know,
if she listened,
it's not an actual experience of it.
If she was a brand new vampire going on a hunt, let's put her in some nice stretch pants and a pair of Uggs. Like, let's make this simple, okay?
I just think that's good.
I mean,
before she leaves, she's worried about Renesmee. Where's Renesmee? I haven't seen Renesmee.
And they won't let her see her.
They won't let her see him. And Edward's like, it's okay. She's with Jacob. And she's like, why?
Why is he still here?
And why are you so calm about it? Like, everything's fine? Okay. I don't understand. Okay. So let's, I guess we'll go eat.
Yeah, I guess we'll just go to this Mickey D's. Can you imagine being a human mother and you wake up after your C-section and they're like, you can't see your baby, and you're just like, all right, somebody bring me a salad.
Yeah. It's like,
no. That would not be what my concern is.
I guess I'll have
Where's my
some
baby?
salad?
I know. And Edward's just like, I know what he's thinking. She's fine. She's safe. And it's like, what's he thinking, Edward?
Yeah, everybody is still,
I need to know.
And they're all tiptoeing around telling Bella, which is fantastic.
Which I get, because no one needs... We're all upset by it, and I appreciate it. When they talk about how fast they're running, I kind of imagine that it's like, you know when you're on an airplane, and you look out the window, and everything's passing, but it looks like it's passing slower than it really is?
Yeah.
Like, that's that weird when I'm reading it. That's kind of how my brain goes. When you're
Your brain
so
can't really
fast.
process how fast you're going, so everything looks weird.
It's like when you watch The Flash.
Yeah. There's another moment of great prop comedy, though, where Bella throws the shoes back in the house.
She's like, ah!
Yeah, I loved that.
Again, stilettos.
Yeah,
why?
Right, stiletto. Who does this?
Who does that?
But to me, it was like a great callback to like the dog food bowl moment. Like just great moments of prop comedy in the book.
Yeah, and I like that they're. He's like trying to find an elk for her. He's like, close your eyes, listen. What did you hear? Where
Don't
do you
rely
see?
on
Don't
your-
rely on this. And while they're hunting, they run into humans, and it's like, woo!
And she's able to turn away mid-hunt, which is like unimaginable.
She hears Edward behind her, and she's
he
like,
attacks him.
Yeah, she's like, oh, there's somebody behind me. I have to kill this predator before I get my food. And she almost attacks Edward, and then she realizes what she's doing, and she's like, oh, I fucked up, and runs the other direction.
Yeah, and this one thing I thought was really funny in the movie. He's like, off the beaten path. I hear they're just in the woods. In the movie, it's like rock climbers, like on the side of a cliff. And I'm like, really? This is what we're doing?
Do
This is
people
how we-
Snacks in the air.
Snacks in the air?
It's like a churro at Disneyland. Just floating.
Yes. Sorry, I like this. Like, his face was intent and cautious as I froze, horrified. I realized that I had been about to attack him. With a hard jerk, I straightened out of my defensive crouch. So that's how she...
Defensive crouch.
Yeah, so it's like...
There's a lot of repetitive words in this third of the
Crouching
book.
and hissing, y'all.
Crouching and hissing, gossamer.
Gossamer.
Silk and satin.
Yeah,
we need a nice word
and,
thesaurus.
and Edward's still like super sexy with it. He's like, I like the improvements of your dress because she's ripped it so she can hop off things and jump cliff mountains. And shit.
And they're just still
I know
just so horny.
She
They're
is
so
literally
horny.
feral. Like she's like wild animal. Like she turned herself into like the female version of Tarzan. You know, the
And
dress
they're
is
still
just like
so
a
horny for
loincloth
each other.
situation, and she's like, I'm hunting.
Yeah. And I like that he describes it because, then eventually they look for more deer, get a deer, and then a mountain lion. He's like, herbivores, the meat eaters smell more like humans. Like, that's why, like, when she's like
she wants the mountain
complaining
lion.
about how gamey the deer smells.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's because it's an herbivore.
Yeah. I thought it was cute that she got a mountain lion. Like, oh, her and her man have the same taste.
Yeah, that was cute.
They
I was like,
both
what
like
is she
mountain
doing? Thinking
lions.
she could go after a mountain lion on her
Oh, we
first
both
date.
have pepperoni on our pizza.
Oh, yeah.
We like the same flavors.
I cannot be the only one who wanted them though. After they killed this mountain lion and they're just like feeding together, like they just wanted them to start making out and have
for sure.
sex covered in blood,
Oh,
a la
yeah.
True Blood.
Yes.
I was like, I am here.
That's what would
I
happen
am
if this
ready.
was an HBO or a Showtime show.
I know what I'm reading, so I didn't get that deep and dark. But you know,
Oh,
I
no.
know I'm like the one person,
No.
and I'm usually the person whose mind is like, literally, I live in the trash can. So
I
the
wanted my
gutter runs right
Showtime
next to
FX
it.
moment.
Yeah, like we know Edward was thinking about it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
come on now. I'm just like, he had to, but he keeps talking about her ripped skirt. He's talking about how amazing she is, and you like always amaze me.
Yeah.
And then seeing her eat the animal, he's like,
Yes. He was ready.
He has
Boner
been ready
alert.
since she
Boner
woke up.
alert.
Boner alert. Since she woke up, he has been ready. And I am like, yes. It's like, and she even says it was a surprisingly sensual experience to
Yeah,
watch
right.
Edward
They
hunt.
should have just.
I'm just saying,
I'm
covered in
thinking
blood.
about that one
How
scene in
around.
True
serial
Blood
killer
where
is that,
Edward and
though?
Sookie like snow blood, or
I
they
don't
like
think it's
snowball with the
serial
blood.
killer.
I feel like someone getting turned on by watching someone hunt is pretty like. Murder.
Have you seen True Blood? There's that one scene where like Eric and Sookie snowball the blood, and I was just like, yeah.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
And I don't
that's
like blood. Blood makes me want to
nasty.
throw up.
Yeah, but no. It
But
was
that
like,
one scene was
I'm a
real hot.
vegetarian, y'all.
Yeah.
I just.
Then you got to pick whatever it is. So, like, is it like your man doing dishes for you? Is it like watching him chop some wood? Like, what's your thing? And just equate it to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's
I
that
get, it's like
scene-
watching him build shit or fix your car.
It's
Yeah.
that
Like,
scene
yeah.
in Avengers where where Captain America and Thor are like chopping down the wood. And he just breaks that one.
And you're like,
whoa. Yeah.
flood my basement, y'all. Oh, yes.
There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house.
Sorry, the
I'm here
WAP
for it.
controversy has been like.
It's
so
been
the
all
top
over the
of my
news
life
cycle.
right now.
Yeah,
It's,
I love it. It's made me. It's strengthened my relationships. Laughing about it all every day. So I can
love
think about.
it.
Okay, so they finish hunting and they get home, and
they get
Jacob
home.
has a test.
He's testing her. He's like, so we just want to make sure that, if you want to see it, Jacob raises his 3 fingers and volunteers his tribute. And he's
Yeah.
like, sniff me. Do you want to eat me?
Right, let's see if you can, deal being around me before we let you around the baby.
Yeah.
And
Bella loses her motherfucking
Bella
mind.
thinks that this is Edward's test at first, so she goes along with it.
Right.
And then she realizes that Edward doesn't have anything to do with it. This is Jacob. Jacob is the one trying to protect Renesmee, and Jacob is acting like he has a claim on it.
And she's like, why is this so weird? Like,
Why
what-
is it so important to you?
I'm just like, girl, you don't get it yet? Like, I don't know how she's so slow on it because you got
No.
Emmett freaking giggling in the wings.
Yeah, everybody's cracking up about this, and it's not like until way deep in it that she figures out.
And the movie, this is a real quick type of section.
It's very fast.
And the movie did it exactly how it was in the book.
Yeah.
But I really just wanted to see her get a hit in or two
Oh, yeah.
more in the movie. I don't know why. Because she literally says you think you'll be in my family as my son-in-law?
Oh, we haven't even gotten there yet.
Like,
girl. We're not
what
even
the-
We're
there
on page
yet.
449.
We're not there yet. She hasn't gotten there yet.
She leans
this is
into-
just her sniffing Jacob outside the house
Oh, this is when
to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
she won't attack him, because if she won't attack him, then she won't attack anyone else that's in the house.
I know, but like in the movie, this comes like back to back, and that's what I think they got right.
Yeah. So Bella gets to go in the house after passing his test. Gets to see Renesmee for the first time.
I had completely forgotten that Renesmee is all I can think about is that book, The Giver.
Oh.
That's all it reminds me of when they talk about how she communicates.
Yeah.
I forgot that Renesmee was the giver.
Yeah.
And so we find that out.
Yeah, and I like that Renesmee's like screaming, like, give me to my mom. She's
Yeah.
just like throwing a fit. And even Alice isn't here for all this overprotectiveness. She's like, give her some credit. She's fine.
Yeah.
Like, don't you see that she's doing great? And Jacob is like the worst helicopter mom. And then she finally...
And Edward has to tell everybody, like, listen, she smelled humans on the hunt and she was fine.
And they're
you guys.
like...
Everybody comes down on Edward because they think that she ate the humans. They're blaming Edward for putting her in this situation.
Yeah, he's like, no.
Listen, guys, this is not what it looks like.
She was fine. She walked away. And then you have Jasper like in the corner.
Yeah.
Because he's like, she did what?
She did what?
She did what? And then Bella finally gets on it and realizes why Jacob is acting this way and loses her mind. And her reaction is everything. She's so angry that she's calm.
Which is a terrible place for a woman to be. You never want to piss a woman off so much that she goes all the way back around and is calm again.
Mm-hmm.
No. And like, she just like, and I like that Emmett's like, I won the bet. He's got all this.
She's screaming. She's calling him a mutt. She's like, I didn't say that you're my family as my son-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. He's like, it's something I can't control. It wasn't my idea. And she's like, and then what Keiki was talking about, go for it.
Yeah. I was just like her saying like Emmett calling out and Esme being like, stop her, Edward. And Edward just being like,
Nah.
She fine.
She's good.
Like,
In the
I'm like,
movie.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because like Bella is finally on my team. She's ready to fuck this dog up. And I'm so here for it. And I'm like, as someone who literally hates Jacob, I really wanted more. And that's my point.
No, I hear you.
What? No, this part was what I wanted, and now having seen the TikTok,
Yeah.
it reminds me of the one that we posted to our story yesterday. Don't you be sniffing around my daughter. I don't know what's wrong with your mind, but you better go find it. Jesus ain't gonna help you.
Nope.
Don't you come around here sniffing around my child.
Yeah.
So
She
good.
was a child.
Right, she is a child, which is the correct response. She's a child.
I put that on our Instagram because I was living for it. And then I just don't like that she accepts his reasoning. He's like, this is what you wanted. We are a family. Remember how much you wanted me around? Don't you remember this? And she still attacks him and she hurts my Sethy poo.
She only attacks him after she hears the nickname,
I know,
which is
right?
ridiculous.
Seth jumped in the way, and that makes me sad. But also, like,
She's like, yeah.
she apologized.
I
She
feel
does.
bad that she hurt Seth, but also
Stay out of grown folks' business.
stay out of grown folks' business, Seth.
Facts.
And listen, she doesn't attack Jacob until she hears the nickname. But
Yeah.
if you gave your kid a stupid ass name like Renesmee, that's your own fault.
That's your own fault.
Nobody's
They
going
could've-
around calling her Renesmee. Of course, she
know.
was going to get a nickname out of the situation.
I'm like, couldn't they do
Yeah.
not Nessie, but
I
like
think
Rennie?
Ren is
Like
cute.
Ren would have been really
Ren is
cute.
Ren would have been cute. Like they're
Yeah.
But Nessie,
It's like, but I also appreciate that Bella jumps to the conclusion that we all do. She's like, you think you'll be my son-in-law?
Yeah.
Like that, like we all know it's creepy. She's thought it was creepy. Edward thought it was creepy. Jacob thought it was creepy until it happened to him. So it's like, I'm just like, it's all creepy all over the place. And poor Sethy Poo. And we get our fight and now everything's fine. And I'm just like, really? That's all it took?
That's all it took, yeah. Just had to beat
Okay.
each other up once. Okay, fine.
Just once. I guess it's like that dude thing, where you just
Yeah.
like punch each other, then you're best friends again. I don't know. We learn lots of things that like
have happened while
have
she's
happened
sleeping.
while she's asleep. The treaty is stronger than ever, thanks to Jacob's imprinting, because their absolute law, which we get at the end of Breaking Dawn Part 1, is that they can't harm anyone that any of them have imprinted on. I like Jasper's just getting more and more upset.
Quill and
every
Embry
day.
have joined Jacob's pack.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
It's one sentence. Like, we don't even... These are things that I was
How
more
it
interested in.
happened.
it just whoop.
I would
We're like,
prefer to
okay.
know that than like the 75 pages of
Yeah.
exposition we get about nothing.
I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
What else?
Bella says that she remembers thinking whoever ends up with Jacob won't be good enough for him. And now she feels like punched in the face because it's her daughter.
Right.
And then she's like, no, she'll be too good for him.
Yeah. And they're like talking about her gifts. Like everyone has gifts and they're like, what is this gift that she has? It's so different from us. And then they bring up Siobhan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, FYI, like I did not know how to say Siobhan when I read it until I got a friend named Siobhan and she spelled it the same way. I always thought it was like Cyobian and she's like, no, it's Siobhan. I'm like, okay, that's Siobhan. But like Siobhan's like just super type A Virgo girl. She's like super organized and like that's how they keep everything together. And I was like, that's a really weird fun fact to share about another vampire to like while you're discussing powers. Like how does Alice see the future? How to, you know, how do I read minds? Siobhan's just super goal oriented. It's like, what a random throw in.
I mean, I wish it was my superpower, so.
Yeah. I don't know why I wrote this here, but there came a point when I was reading, and I wrote it down as page 460, but as I was reading this, I was like, how the fuck are they going to explain any of this to Renesmee when she grows up? Like,
girl, well, she's just like witnessing
Jacob
it.
used to be, you know, your mom's best friend / boyfriend, weird love triangle. They definitely made out.
Your mom kissed your boyfriend / husband.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope they don't go that route. I don't want them together. It's just super gross. It's super grooming.
What else is gonna happen?
She could end up with
grooming.
Noelle. Okay,
girl, we're gonna get like to freaking Christmas, and then we're gonna be like, that's grooming. Like,
well, yeah,
right.
Facts.
Okay. Christmas.
I just want to know
I have words.
Because like Renesmee's power, right, is she touches your face and shows you everything.
She's the giver.
Right? Yeah, she's the giver. But like, so what's more annoying? Like a child constantly asking you why, or a child constantly showing you everything about the day? Every day, every second.
Oh God, I think they're both like, probably miserable.
Here's the day.
But you know when they're like screaming about what they want, wouldn't it be nice if they could just keep showing you? Like,
that's true. Yeah, when they're pre-verbal and they're just screaming their head off, and you're like, do you want your binky? Do you want your stuffy? Do you want your blanket? Do you want milk? What do you want? If they could just put their hand on my face and I'm, okay, blanket, here, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but that's not what
Blue's Clues.
doing.
We're not watching Blue's Clues. You can't have what you want.
Yeah,
like, you know,
right? That'd be easier.
But that's not what Renesmee's doing. She's literally just
recapping
her day.
Yeah,
she's like, here's my day so far. You like my day so far? It's a good day so far.
Look,
you like this day so far?
Look at me jump.
My day so
Mom,
far.
I can jump.
But if something bad happened, though, you'd see it and then you could go murder that person.
For sure. But I'm saying, but what's more annoying? The kid going, why is the sky blue? Why can't I run? Why do you laugh? Why is this the thing? What's more annoying is what my question is. The constant why.
I don't know. They're both terrible. Can we also talk about how Bella also says my vampire mind 9,000 times in this chapter?
Oh my God.
My vampire mind, my vampire body, my vampire.
I also just need to know why Esmeyer decided that she needed to write every single Cullen family reaction to everything that Bella does. Like, hold on.
That's why this part of the book is so long.
Everyone was suddenly smiling at me. Esme sweet, Emmett excited, Rosalie a little superior, Carlisle indulgent, and Edward expectant. Why do we care? She does this the whole book. Every single person in the room gets a reaction, and I just don't. It's unnecessary.
She's like, I'm a vampire. Let me tell you what emotion
it's like Pirates of the Caribbean 2, where everything had a plot line. All these things didn't need plot lines.
Yeah,
calm it down, trim the fat.
Yeah, and then she's just like, where's the baby sleep? Oh, in my arms, in their arms. I'm like, what is this co-sleeping 1,000?
Talk about coddling. I mean, seriously?
Look, and here's the thing. If it was actual co-sleeping, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. But you have to remember, these vampires don't fucking sleep. So they're just sitting around for 8 hours just holding the baby. Just holding a baby, not doing anything else but holding a baby.
That baby needs a crib. That baby needs a bed.
I would lose my mind.
Baby needs a house.
I would lose my mind.
I would call
Speaking of a house,
social services.
This baby gets a house. They get a rock formation cottage.
They get a B-ribboned key. I wrote down B-ribboned because I didn't know that was actually a fucking word. I was like, did Stephanie Meyer make this up? And then I had to type it in Google. B-ribboned is a real word.
Yeah, it's like those little fancy keys.
Yeah, she got a B-ribboned key, and they get a cottage for Bella's human birthday.
And the movie did not give you the cottage I wanted. When they said rock formation cottage, I thought it was literally a cottage broken into this rock cliff. You know, like they build houses like that out here in the mountains. And like I thought the cottage would have like rock in the ceiling.
I saw like a baby castle, like you know that castle.
Right,
house
I saw a baby
Beverly
castle.
Hills?
Yeah,
I saw like the baby castle.
Yeah,
this is what I want. And it's all for their alone time. You know, the alone time.
It's literally a sex castle.
Everybody's fucking
all the time.
They're just playing The Weeknd. It's just playing constantly in the cottage. Yeah. That's what I imagine. It's just a constant loop of The Weeknd songs.
And I just love Emmett and his constant comments about like getting down.
Right, because the whole family wants her to get the D. movie. It's fucking hilarious.
It's so funny.
Also confirms my seventh wheel theory. If we want to go all the way back to episode 1, talking about how Edward was the seventh wheel.
Ultimate seventh
wheel. This proves it because all anybody can talk about in this chapter is them fucking.
Mm-hmm. They're like, can you go fuck so we can fuck? Because we get tired of entertaining you.
And they're just like, well, I couldn't be around them for a decade. Yeah, we know, bro. And I mean, Rosalie knew what she was doing when she got the man who fought a bear.
Right? They get to the cottage. There's gossamer on the bed.
Hold on. There's this...
No, it's a canopy floating down to the floor.
I'm having a flashback.
I have to read this because I guffawed when I read it.
I guffawed.
If I hadn't undressed him, I would have sworn there was nothing more beautiful than Edward in his khakis and pale beige pullover.
Stop it with the fucking khakis. That's a note that I literally wrote in all caps on my phone. Stop with the fucking khakis.
Nothing is sexy about a khaki.
Listen, can we get this man some gray sweatpants at least? Like, Jesus.
Like something
you
really sexy.
guys, when I read that, I was like, oh my God. There are plenty of things sexier than a man in khakis.
Right? Like a nice pair of Levi's is better than khakis.
Look, girl had something for her summer camp teacher or something like that.
No,
right?
Like that is like...
Who wears khakis?
That is like Sunday school teacher attire. She had a thing for one of her Sunday school teachers.
I guess, because FML.
Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just like read that and I was like, and I'm done. And
have you ever seen a pair of leather pants, y'all? Like Spike from Buffy? Can we get some actual fashion happening?
Facts.
No, girl, because this is written by clearly a very unfashionable person.
It's okay. Khakis. Don't be mad at the Mormons for not having very good fashion sense. It's inbred into us to not be fashionable and to hide our bodies.
You can hide your body in a fashionable way. Hello.
Right.
What do you think a burqa is? They get fancy. Have you seen a sari girl?
Right?
Women been covering their bodies for the Lord for many millennia, and they can do it with some pizzazz and class and a little bit of jewel.
Yeah. Well, now that Edward and Bella are married, they can have sex all night long for the Lord, and they do, literally.
How do we stop if we never sleep? I would get bored after a while.
Right?
Like,
it would start to hurt.
Don't they need lube or something?
Right?
Women don't work lube, or something.
Like, it's overly sensitive after a while. Like, your body doesn't get overly stimulated as a vampire, I guess. I don't know.
It's very different.
I had questions.
I do too.
Girl,
I couldn't
like
do
I said, it must
it's just the biology of it doesn't make sense to it. It doesn't vibe.
I don't know, like how do they but I like how in the movie they give her like her vampire orgasms is like the vampire aura. It's just like a gold. Like
it's the sun rising.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, what is that?
Oh, you know what that is.
I know what it is. Vampire orgasm explosion of magic. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because the rest of this is just a lot of talking of nonsense.
When Edward sniffs out Jane's like a bloodhound, how are you going to go?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When she opens the closet and there are too many clothes in there and Edward is like, hold on. And he literally sniffs his way through the closet to find her jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah. Denim has a scent.
Yeah.
Denim has a scent.
And then they get to the house and Emmett's again cracking on them and he's like, what were y'all doing all night? Discussing the national debt?
And she's like, no. And I'm like, yes, Emmett, keep doing it. But then they have this discussion and Jacob, if I couldn't hate Jacob anymore, because they're talking about having to leave, people can't be around them. We have to say like Bella died. And he's like, no, he's pile on pile of garbage because while they were having this discussion, while Bella and Edward were off getting busy in the woods, he takes it upon himself to tell Charlie that Bella's fine. He's a werewolf. And there's just some things in this world that you don't need to know about.
I'm just going to face in front of you. No big deal.
No, MBD.
Jacob is the worst.
Jacob is the worst, but also can we talk about how Charlie's in personal fortitude because he doesn't pass out. Like if this boy that I had known his whole life grew up, just watched him grow up. He's best friends with my daughter. His father is my best friend. We hang out all the time. If this child turned into a werewolf in front of me, I would pass the fuck out. You would have 5150 me because I would lose my shit.
But can't you appreciate Charlie being this like chief sheriff type?
And that's what I'm saying. Charlie
ain't never scared. Man. He's strong.
He's got so much fortitude.
You could tell Charlie you were carrying a gun and he wouldn't draw his.
Yeah,
he'd be like, oh, me too.
I don't like any of this, but I'm okay. Okay. I guess.
Explain.
Okay. I guess.
Yeah. But the only reason Jacob does it is because they might take Renesmee away. And I'm sorry, can't you go with them? Leave. What?
No, he's got to be there for the pack that he doesn't want.
That he doesn't want.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
But I think that the movie did this better than the book. Like Charlie in Charlie fashion, he's relieved that his daughter's okay. He, decides he needs to stay in the need to know area. And that's how the book goes. It's just very blase, blase da. But the movie, I think, does a better job. He's he's like, need to know. I got it. He's like, my daughter who looks like my daughter but doesn't look like my daughter. This kid's turning into a werewolf. This girl has your eyes, Bella.
Yeah.
And he's very emotional about it, but he's like, I guess need to know, right? And she's like, yes, we're going to keep it need to know. And he's like, well, I guess whatever keeps you in my life. And I just think
the movie handled that scene much better. I did write down, though, that like Stephanie Meyer has never seen a 3-month-old because nothing, like the way that they describe what's going on with Renesmee, and then they're like, oh, she looks to be about 3 months old. And I'm like, those two things are not in line with each other. You've never seen a 3-month-old.
Yeah, and she's got kids. So it's
she's got kids, so I was like, what type of babies you have?
What type of babies do you have?
Yeah.
3-month-olds still look like babies. They don't look like newborns, but they look like babies.
And I'm like, even coming from my family where the babies are king size, I was like, they're 3 months. They may look like 9, but they act like 3 months.
No, she's described a fucking toddler, and she's like, oh, but she had the appearance of a 3-month-old.
Yeah, it's
excuse me?
What? I know. Jacob tells Charlie that Renesmee is a child ward. Like, it's not even like an adoption.
A Bruce Wayne.
It's like, like a Bruce Wayne, like Robin is a ward. It's just like a very weird thing. That the movie gets right, because Edward's like, this is my daughter. Yeah. And he's like, oh, the adoption. So, like, it makes way more sense. And he's like, she's got your eyes. I'm just going to need to know. Got it. And then Jacob and Bella have a conversation, and Jacob tries to like apologize to her, and I am literally screaming.
The one thing that I did like in the book, though, is that Edward tells him the lie that they will tell other people, and Charlie is like, but that's not the truth, and Edward is like, but you need to be able to tell the lie just as good as the truth, so here it is.
Yes, this story is more important than the truth.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we gonna learn today.
This is the story. Here it is.
Yeah, like, I hate this Jacob apology. He's like, I'm sorry about hurting you. I didn't know it was like that. Bella, things are different with us now, but you'll always be my best friend, and I'll always love you, but I'll love you the right way now. There's finally balance. We both have people we can't live without. I am, like, screaming, screw you, you're a douchebag, like, the whole time when I'm reading that.
He's the worst.
I clearly, I'm quiet because I hate Jacob so much, y'all.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's dumb.
And then we get our arm wrestling scene.
Which is great.
Yes, which is great with our baby Emmett.
My fave.
Yeah, Emmett. And he's like, there's no way. I'm going to beat you. And she's like, this is
Bella
actually really easy. And I love that.
Strong newborn baby Bella is like
my fave.
My fave. Because also it kind of helps emphasize the fact that we notice this while we're reading the book. Yeah. Bella is a strong woman.
Yes.
But people keep trying to decide her life.
No.
And now she has the actual strength behind that,
and there were several.
She's crazy.
Yeah. Even though this part of the book takes forever to happen, there were several strong Bella moments that I was absolutely here for. And the arm wrestling scene is one of them. She was just like, all right, you think you're going to play me?
Here we go.
Bam.
And I like that they were going to do it at the kitchen table, and they're like, no. And like, Esme likes this table, and she's like, thank you, don't hurt my table. Don't hurt my table. And they do it outside, and it's so good.
Esme was a hidden gem in this part of the book. Just underrated, underutilized.
And I kind of love that Bella, after she beats Emmett in the arm wrestling, she's like, I found my true place in the world, the place I fit, and the place I shine. Yes. Like, this poor awkward girl finally feels like she finally belongs, and I love that so much.
Yeah, I wrote mind matches matter at this point.
Yes.
It's no more like mind over matter for her. You know, like proving she's strong, proving she can do things. She's like, I can do them. Yes. I don't need y'all. I chose y'all.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I love that they're planning, because like they've been doing their Googling.
Yeah.
We got to Google this baby, because they're like, she's growing at a crazy rate. She's like,
they're making a fake baby book. Like they're setting up alibis. I love it.
They're working on it. They got the old Takuna legend research, and they're going to get ready to go down to South America to try to like talk to people and see if anyone knows anything. And then the Volturi send this gift, which is also kind of a threat. And then
they send her literal crown jewels, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is, I like that Carlisle's like, I always wondered what happened.
So bougie. Also, speaking of bougie, Renesmee is the most obnoxious child in the world because she has to read her fucking Tennyson
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I thought I was an annoying ass kid. This kid takes the cake. Can you read some fucking green eggs and ham and some word bird like a normal child, please?
Yeah. And I just love, like, he's like, I so look forward to seeing the Mrs. Cullen.
To me, it also, like, sets a bad precedent because they're like, oh, the child's growing early and she's so mature, to try and make it not seem creepy that Jacob is grooming her.
Girl,
yeah,
I can't.
Who cares?
I'm not here for this.
Who cares? Who
She's still
cares
a
if her
child.
reading level is above her age?
She's still a child.
She's still a child.
Oh, she's mature for her age. It doesn't matter. She's a child.
Blah, blah, blah. I can't.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway.
Okay, so I'm going to jump.
Revelatory necklace. I'm excited to meet the new Mrs. Cullen, which
is like, and it comes in this like gorgeous box, which apparently is more valuable. And I just like Carlisle's like little side of like, I wonder what happened to those crown jewels.
yeah.
And then I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. So they're outside, like messing around in the snow, and Irina from Alaska sees this baby.
Irina just sees a baby.
And she's
Doesn't say anything.
remembering the children. She's mad at them because they killed Laurent.
She sees a werewolf and she's done.
She thinks is the child, and she goes
She's
and
just
turns
done.
them in.
She doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't say anything. She just turns around. She's done.
She's like straight to Voltaire.
She's like, done, turning y'all in. Y'all are trash. And Alice is just walking and then gets this crazy vision.
She drops a vase, which is hysterical.
Hilarious, because she doesn't never, like,
Yeah,
they even make a point, she never drops
Yeah.
things. And she just sees that the Volturi are coming, their witnesses are coming, like the entire guard is coming, their wives are coming.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, whoa, this is a really big deal.
And Alice is basically like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
We got to go. We need to run. And they're like, form this plan that they need to talk to friends and get them to come and be witnesses for them to tell them that this is not one of the like forbidden children, that this is actually a child who was born, a child who is half, a child who grows every day.
And they split up, which is something like the Cullens are always together in this book in some shape or form. So like seeing them
split up is
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Alice is like, I need to go take care of this. We need to do that. We need to do this. And then she leaves with Jasper. And I feel like this whole family jumps to these wild conclusions.
Which like, y'all have been alive for several years and you've been together for decades. You should know how the other person thinks and reacts to things.
Yeah.
But they all just jump to the conclusion that like, Alice is out. She's done. She's had enough.
They even talk about how Alice is the one they would want.
Yeah.
Like if they come, and she's like, well, they would want me. We need to find people. And like, we were planning on doing this trip. Cool. So we're going to go and we're gonna figure this out. And everyone's like, they've abandoned us. And the movie fed that storyline because you just see like Alice and Jasper having like a secret conversation in the corner, and then they disappear. But then she like is leaving secret clues for
Bella.
For Bella, sorry.
And I love this. This was another time where Bella's like, you know, with her, she's a strong, empowered woman. She is standing by the computer. In the book, she is standing near the computer and she's acting like she's looking out the window, but she's using
really
her vampire finesse to like do some real quick Googling so nobody sees what she's doing.
Yeah, and I think that's really smart of her, and I love that. And then Alice leaves her a Merchant of Venice note, and then she finds the book and finds like the name of this J. Jenkins.
J. Jenkins.
She goes to visit.
She's got to go see
the
it.
J. Jenkins.
And she also asked Edward. She's like, "Look, I need to know how to fight." And Edward's like, "I'm not going to do that."
Edward and Bella still have time to get it in, even though they know that their lives are on the line. They're like, "We have a month. We got to go find people. We got to have witnesses."
But also,
we got to
that's
distract
so
ourselves a
annoying.
little bit. We got to distract
That's
ourselves a
also
little
annoying
bit.
though. Like we need to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
Like stop
Like
distracting.
we
Right?
need
Stop
to
distracting me.
know.
I know we could die. This could be the last time, but like, no, we have more important things to do.
Yeah. And I wrote that Alex's power is terrifying because he like sends this, because they start talking about what each person in the Volturi can do. And we know Jane already because we've seen it. And Alec is her brother, and he can send like the ghost smoke that blinds you. You can't see, hear, taste, like nothing. And I was like, ooh. So they've gone, they're asking all these people to show up, and we get the Denali people first. They're like, Irina's a fucking punk. This is what she did. And I like how Edward, like, the scene is trash in the movie, but the way they do it in the book is so much better. They have Renesmee in another room. They're like, close your eyes. What do you hear? We hear heartbeats. What do you smell? We smell a human. And then they bring her out. They freak out. And then they're like, he's like, no, wait. And like, it's the same thing. And they're like, oh yeah, she does have pink cheeks. We can smell her blood.
Yeah.
We can hear her heart. Holy crap. You birthed her. That's insane. And I like that we meet Eleazar. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
who also used to be with Carlisle in the Volturi, and he's got a super cool power. So not like this is the part of the book that gets really long, but I also think this is the part of the book that introduces us to all these amazing characters.
I feel like this part of the book deserved to be long, and I just think we started to get fatigued because there were other parts that came before this that were long for no reason.
Exactly. So like
these are things I want to know, but I've spent so much time learning
about
Gossamer.
Yeah, right. Esme smiled, Rosalie smiled, everybody smiled. They're all fucking smiling.
With multiple adjectives in front of how they smiled.
I
can't. But his power's super cool. He can figure out what a vamp's special power is before they even know, and even in their human form. And I was like, that's cool. And he's the one that points out that she's a shield.
Yes.
And they're like, what is a shield?
What is a shield? And I love that he's like, maybe we got like we had too many Rolodexes going on when I worked in the Volturi, but like we used to classify everybody. I have an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. And I just love like, he's just a super, super cool, character. I'm like, Branky Dawn, this book also answers the question about why, that people always have, is like, why is it that, and we answer this in another podcast episodes, we don't have to go into it, of why certain things work on Bella and other things don't.
Yes.
Whether it's mental versus physical.
Yeah.
And this is where that comes in when they're discussing her being a shield. So if you have that question, go to our previous podcast or read this section of the book. It'll answer it for you. We don't need to go into it again.
With all these vampires laid out, I don't know if the Kindle version is like this, but I cracked up because I forgot
it's got
this.
the vampire list in the back?
Yeah, I loved it because it's so funny. Jacob gets mad and he's like, I'm going to need an index if I got to keep all these bloodsuckers straight.
Does yours have an asterisk?
Yes, this little asterisk, and it's like, go to page 75, and there's the fucking vampire index. I love that.
So you click, you just touch it, and it sends you there.
So good.
I thought that was cool. Renata is Arrow's bodyguard. She is also a type of a shield. Kate, we learn, is like a human taser. And we get her in the movie too, which is awesome.
I loved human taser power, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was into it too. I was also into her like in whatever.
Yeah. We then get there's like a random list of it. We get Peter and Charlotte, which I think they replaced with some random characters in the movie when they're like, this is Jasper. He was a Jasper's friend who was a new vampire. I was like, who? What?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be analogous to those two.
Yeah. We get the Irish clan, which is Siobhan, who I mentioned earlier, Liam, and Little Maggie, who is the girl who knows when they're being lied to,
Maggie.
which I think is cool. They like totally didn't talk about her in the movie. She's like, I would know if they're lying because that's her special power. We get Egypt, which are the best. We get Benjamin, who is played by Rami Malek in the movie.
I was going to say, Rami Malek, my heart.
My little water powers.
We get Tia, his girlfriend. We get Aman and Kebi, who is Aman's partner. And Ben is like, I'm staying if you're not staying. But I like...
Well, it's cool.
But I like the movie that we got to see them in Egypt and Carlisle and Esme go to get them. And like... come through Rami Malek, who puts the water wall up. He's like, I'm interested. And I just think that was a really cool addition. We get Garrett, who's played by
who's the best.
Ultimate Lee Pace in the movie, whom I love. And any man he ends up with is a very lucky man, because I wish it was me. Who's great. And we get Mary and Randall. And we get Alistair, who is also a tracker, and he's the one that is the most iffy about being there. And then we get the Amazons that Alice sent from South America. So we know Alice is in South America. And why no one else can put together why Alice is in South America is beyond me.
Because they're all dumb. Everybody in this book takes
we've all
dumb
been doing
pills.
the same research.
And then there's a third one that we learn about that stays with Alice. Why do you think she stays with Alice? Because she knows the people and can help her find the other
Because everybody in this book, listen, Carlisle couldn't figure out that the baby wanted blood. Like, everybody in this book is taking dumb pills. They've all taken dumb pills.
Mad about that. Okay.
Apparently, being vegetarian for them gives them brain fog. They need some B12.
Yeah, right. They gotta get some B12.
They don't got it.
I don't know, man. Also, the description of Zephrina just made me like just
cringe
that much uncomfortable. Just that much
like her skin. The way she talks about people's skin.
I'm like, bro, like I know that you're not like actively trying to be racist right now, but you need somebody to read this. Like, you need a cultural and diversity editor to read through this for you and be like, girl,
I mean, that wasn't
you don't describe people like this.
That was not a thing a while ago. So it's like,
I mean, it was a thing, but like only the people it was happening to were being vocal about it.
Right.
Now all the other people are jumping in and being like, yeah, they don't like that. Please stop.
Please don't say that.
Zephrina, who's one of the Amazons, has a cool power. She can make you see whatever she wants.
Right? I love that.
I love it.
That's her way of blinding, the same way like Alec blinds you.
If I had that power, I would just walk around all the time making people think I look like Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Or I'd project that I was at my desk at work when I legit was in the kitchen watching Netflix and eating snacks, you know?
Yeah. Bella then is told that she can project her shield.
Yes.
And she's like, what? Because like Kate's like, yeah, I like basically started my palms and now it's my whole body and I can electrocute people. Mm-hmm. So Kate's like, well, let's try it. And I like that they don't do this in the movie and I wish they did. But Bella, it's not, Edward isn't enough.
No.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I'm going to go zap your daughter. Come with me. Protect her if you want. And that is what pushes her over the edge. It's that mama bear
energy.
Mm-hmm. And it just like that extra little pressure sped this ability along. So now she knows how to like, and I like the way they describe it. It's like a rubber band in a way that she's like pushing away from her body and pulling away from her body. And Zafrina helps and she tries to make Bella see something and the people around her. So it's a little less dangerous. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's like
less dangerous than tasing the baby.
Yeah, she's like, if you don't do it, I'm a taser.
Right.
And I think, Zafrina's like, I'm just gonna make her not see things. Like I feel like there had to have been some, because I actually can't imagine Kate actually
tasing the baby.
Yeah.
Now.
Mm-hmm. I think that would have been messed up. And I enjoy that Garrett is constantly, which we get in the movie, flirting with Kate, and he's like, he's like, I don't think it's that powerful, and she's like, oh, you wanna? Just touch it.
Also,
just touch my finger.
I love the Romanians.
The Romanians
remind me of Waldorf and
Vladimir.
They remind me of Waldorf and Statler from the Muppet movie. They're just in the background like, these guys are all idiots. No!
It's so good.
We hate the Volturi. No!
And I'm just like, you guys ruled for a really long time. I don't understand how it happened.
Yeah.
So we meet all of these people, and I think it's like 17 witnesses in total, which is incredible. But what also happens, because there's 17 new vampires in the area, we get like 17 more werewolves.
Yeah.
So these poor boys are just like walking down the street and just werewolf, werewolf, and it's like.
But it was also like, okay, so now it's every boy, but Leah's still the only girl.
Right? I know.
Couldn't I get another girl?
Another girl, please?
The fact that there's not another girl makes no sense to me.
No. The fact that Sue wasn't in on it too. I mean,
could you imagine if Sue was a werewolf too?
So this is one of my favorite parts of the book, which I realized this before they like announce it formally at the very end of the book. But Bella takes Nessie and Jacob to go hang out with Charlie for the day. Yeah. And Sue is there. And I just sit there and I was like, Charlie and Sue, it's me and Mrs. Jones got a thing going on.
Yeah. And I like the movie expands on it more and makes them a real thing. Yeah. But the book just kind of hints at it. Like she's been cooking for him. She's been taking care of him. Like, yes, her husband died, but she's not dead.
Yeah.
Like
Charlie's lonely.
And Charlie is a great guy. Yeah. And I like that Billy has an issue with it though, because like Charlie's like, I should call Billy.
Also,
kind of grumbles about it.
I wrote down about when she dropped off Renesmee and Jacob to Charlie's, because they said that she doesn't speak in front of Charlie. And I'm like, well, she can't be communicating with her hand thing. Like, she got to be smart enough to know not to do that. So also, why doesn't she talk? Is she like avoiding breathing because he smells good?
No, I think she is communicating with Charlie using the hand thing.
Yeah, I think they say it at one point. I swear she touched him. I thought she touched him when he met her the first time.
Yeah, she does.
And that was part of like the need to know.
She does. And he's like, what the fuck? And everybody's like, need to know, Charlie.
Charlie,
need to know. All right. Okay, I guess.
Yeah. So that's what I think too.
Because I read it and I was like, what do you mean?
And she does at one point, like Bella tells Renesmee, don't show Charlie something. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, tell him anything. And then we get her, like, and the movie did this better. We get the Jay Jenkins scene, and it's split into two parts for the book, where she like, where am I going? What am I doing?
She goes to the, and I quote, ghetto address.
Yeah, the ghetto address.
Just reading that pained my soul.
Yeah. She goes to the hood.
There's different ways to describe it.
And I'm just going to crunch these two together. So she goes to the hood address, meets this dude to go to Jay's office. And basically, he's a forger. He does forgery papers, and it's like a Better Call Saul situation. Yeah, so she gets papers for Jacob and Renesmee to run away if things go bad. Yeah. And I think that's all we need to know about that. There was no need to go in twice. We didn't need her to meet him, figure it all out, and then ask for the papers, and then meet up again at dinner.
No. It could have just been, it literally could have been a Better Call Saul situation where she's like, oh, I drove up to a seedy strip mall in a neighborhood that's not that great to an attorney's office, and I got some forged papers.
The movie just did it all in a restaurant. Yeah. And I was like, the way I imagined it was like this like creepy, sweaty dude. And I just like that he's really scared of Jasper.
Oh, yeah. No, I literally, it's like the only black person I've ever seen in this film. And I was like,
literally, I mean, I know that in the movie he's black, but when I was reading it again, I literally imagined the guy from Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. And then we get to Christmas, and can we just talk about this freaking I'm sorry. We're talking about F-bombs in this episode. I will rein it in. I apologize. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Nessie gets a locket from her parents.
Super cute.
Totally makes sense.
Makes sense. Perfect sense.
Edward buys her an MP3 player and loads it up with his favorite songs. Totally
adorable.
Sentimental.
Love it.
Adorable. Precious.
And Jacob gives her
a fucking
promise ring.
It's a bracelet, but it's the Quilliat version of a promise ring.
She's a baby. Stop pushing my child.
5. Stop it. Stop it. Like,
gross.
she's got to be like 5 at this point in life, right?
Gross.
She's a child.
Gross. Not even 5, Keiki.
Jesus can't help
5.
you.
She's like 3
She's
months
like 3. 2.5, maybe.
She's 3 months old and she's aged to the point where she's like
2-3 years old.
Yeah.
Disgusted. Disgusted.
It's super gross. I actually really like this next scene in the book because the closer it gets to like the snow sticking to the ground, which is like the thing. The tension is building.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just literally sitting in this house waiting for them to show up. And Alistair is like, I'm out, basically.
Yeah.
But then the Romanians give this amazing speech.
No.
In order to like, and everyone like stands up and they're like, I'm here. I stand with you, Cullens. And they're just like, I just think it's really powerful and kind of beautiful that they're like, you know what, you're not wrong. We've been treated poorly. Like, they won't even hear us. We know they're only coming to murder us. And then like, but we will stand if it comes to that.
It very much reminds me of Lord of the Rings, where Frodo was like, I'll take the ring and you have my sword and my axe and my bow. And
yeah. And it's just literally an entire chapter of build up to the Volturi actually arriving.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like 2 chapters. But they're like long.
Bella packs a bag for Nessie with the papers in it and some petty cash.
Just
in
case.
They have beyond petty cash. Let's be real.
Yeah. I wish that was my petty cash, Cullens.
Yeah, and Alistair's like worry isn't invalid. Like, he's like, they're literally coming to murder us regardless. He's like, we know this, right? We all know this.
So either we got to make a decision now.
Yeah, and everyone's like, nah, we're done. We're done living this way. We're done living in fear if we barely do something wrong. And then
they show up.
Overthrow the government.
Overthrow the government, guys. It's coming.
Defund the police.
Get the guillotines.
Defund the police. Overthrow the government. Support the USPS. Anyway, that's our that's our thing. So I just like that the Volturi are like, oh, they knew we were coming. Don't they know they have Alice? Right? Why are they surprised?
Why are you surprised?
And then, but
they're like, we were trying to sneak up on you in formation.
Yeah, in formation, in a beautiful formation, like the way it's described.
Okay, ladies, now let's
get
in formation.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, there's a wolf pack, and they're all like, they're outnumbered.
That's what they weren't scared until all these horse-sized wolves show up, and then they're like, well,
like,
maybe we should talk first.
But they explain it though in the book. Like, Arrow had a bad run-in with a werewolf, so like he's in like,
no, I don't like this. And I'm just like, Arena, do you feel like a dumb bitch now? Right? Do you feel like you sold out your family? Dumb bitch.
I mean, clearly she's
all
about
that
to
didn't happen was Bella going, congratulations, Arena, you played yourself.
Yeah. Dumb.
You played yourself. Bella just expands her shield as far as it can possibly go because she gets blinded with rage. Just seething rage. And she realizes the only thing that's stopping her power is her own mental block. And she says, F that.
And it works.
Just throws her shield out across the whole
family. And I love, like, Arrow's like, I want to speak to Edward because he's the one who knows everything. And she's like, okay, I have to let him out long enough for him to be touched. Yeah. And I think that's terrifying for her because at any point he could just like rip his head off. And honestly, this entire meeting is lame.
It's so long.
It's just a long conversation.
My favorite part about all of this is that when Bella doesn't tell anybody that she's doing it, like she's figured out that she can throw her shield to cover everybody. She doesn't tell anybody that she's doing it. She's just doing it and like making sure that they're all covered and she can feel them underneath the shield.
It's all just her learning how to do it.
Yeah. And then, but the best part is that Jane starts trying to do shit. And Jane is like, why isn't it working? And Bella just looks at her and smirks and she's like, gotcha, bitch.
Yes, that's the best. And like, they're like, the smoke is surrounding the shield and she just feels like bullets trying to penetrate it. But literally,
also, when she first stretches her shield and Stephanie Meyer describes it, she drew a penis, y'all.
Oh, she did. She definitely drew a penis.
Yeah, she was like a long oval, like I wrote it down.
Right, okay.
And she's like, this is Bella and Renesmee, and then Edward's walking. You know, we see Edward walking. And she drew it out over. That's a penis.
That's a penis. And we're going
That's
to
a
post that. We're going to
penis.
share that information.
I love it.
Because that's hilarious. Please save that.
And then she pulled her
on your
penis
phone.
back. She killed her boner.
Yeah, boner alert.
Boner alert. But literally, this entire meeting is like, it also like messes with the lore we've already learned that apparently the wolves are shapeshifters.
Not true
Yeah.
werewolves. They're not children of the moon. Which, like, listen, we are in the last 100 pages of your novel series. You can't just throw out mythology changes.
But it's not even that. Edward knew, like the way
Yeah.
they described it.
He's
Edward's
like, oh yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. They're not like
He could have brought that up
werewolves, but like
a
whatever.
long time ago.
He knew that they just
It's very
hundreds
irritating.
of years ago chose to be a wolf. They could have been any form.
They could have been eagles or jaguars or anything. Like, fuck
or bears,
you.
spirit animals of some sort. Sorry, but Stephanie Meyer is that
Yeah,
person.
right. Stephanie Miles, that person. She would have called them spirit animals.
It's so annoying. I
But
was
yeah,
like,
no,
this
there's
is
like
dumb.
there's
This
how many
whole-
pages of fucking fight and it's not even a fight. It's not a fight.
It's not
It's a
fight.
conversation.
It's literally a conversation, a calm debate, a calm chat.
Well,
Yeah.
except for when Caius, Caius
out here
slapped
doing-
homegirl in the face.
They're out here doing 45 minutes of pro debate style.
Multiple meetings. And I just like
With
Caius
plus
is looking.
pimp slap.
Yeah.
Both meetings plus pimp slap.
Yeah, and Caius is just looking for any reason, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, but they lied to us. Oh, but it's a baby. Oh, but you're with werewolves. Oh, but you're like, and you're just like, bro.
Anything. He's like, anything.
And, like,
On Wednesdays we wear pink and you're not wearing pink. Like, he's looking
Yeah.
for any
Any
excuse to fight them.
excuse.
He's like, I came across this planet for a fight, bro.
Yeah.
We haven't fought in years.
And Marcus is just kind of like, y'all woke me up for this.
You woke me up.
You woke me up for this bullshit.
Yeah. And like, and then, they get to at least murder one person. Irina is murdered for her defiance and her false accusation and in hopes of provoking a fight.
Yes.
And her sisters start. They're like, running, ready to zap, and everyone like holds them
Yeah,
back.
Garrett like tackles Kate and gets just shocked.
Yeah.
Literally shocked.
And I just love that they kept this in the movie, and I love this, that Garrett was like, if we live through this, I will go anywhere with you, woman. And I was like, he is the only yes, Garrett using woman correctly. I love that moment. And then Arrow's like, well, fine, let's talk to a witness. And so like Armin's like, well, let me give witness. And he's like, well, there you go. And he's like, well, I need another witness.
Yeah.
To confirm
And I
that
need
witness.
another
So
witness.
Siobhan does it. And then Garrett's over it. And Garrett like bitch slaps them with words. And I'm like, hashtag Garrett for
Yes.
president. He's like, this is bullshit. What are we doing?
And I love that you find out that he was like a revolutionary American and he's like, I've overthrown one government. I'll do it again.
I'll do it again.
I'll do it again. It's like, bat. And I'll do it again.
And I'll do it again.
That's Garrett right now. And I just love that it works. And like,
We get this very emotional part though, where they do think, oh, okay, fuck it, we are gonna die.
we are going to die there. Because they're like all like huddling together to decide what to do.
decide what to do. And so while the Volturi are deciding what to do, everybody on the Cullen side is like, let's just say our goodbyes. And this is my favorite part, even though I don't like Jacob, is that Edward is so sweet and he's like, my friend, my son.
My brother. My
like-
son.
Oh,
and
you guys, I got a little chills when you
right?
said it.
I love it.
I got disgusted.
I was like, okay.
I was like,
I love their bromance. Polyamory could have fixed this.
I
Just
don't like
kiss.
exactly. I don't like
Just
Jacob,
kiss.
but I like the bromance that they,
Yeah.
the friendship that came out of the two of them is
Yeah.
what I actually appreciate,
Yeah.
and I don't like anything else about it. And I like that like the Volturi witnesses are like, we're out of here. Like
I
this
don't
is
like
this is dumb.
This is not what I asked for.
This is not why we came here. And like Bella is like, okay, just in case, sends Jacob and Renesmee
Yeah.
off. And Jane, like we talked about, like the Bella smirk is the best.
The best part. And then Edward gets this, he just starts like laughing, just hysterically laughing because he can hear Alice's thoughts. He can hear Jasper's thoughts and he knows that
And
they're
he's
coming
like,
back.
"She's
Yeah.
back."
And I love that that Edward ties Eros' hands behind his back.
Yeah.
He's like, look, if we can, because the argument is, well, we don't know what she'll grow up to be.
Yeah.
Right.
So
She could be
we
dangerous.
found a loophole. We don't know what she's going to be. So we're going to kill her. Once we kill her, then we can kill the rest of you.
Right. And so he's like, well, if we can prove it, will you leave? Like, and we'll go our separate ways peacefully. And they're like, yes. And
Thinking that he can't prove it. And Edward,
And
the
he's
whole
like,
time,
cool.
he's got a trump card and he's laughing.
And
he's
he's
like,
like,
yo, Alice.
Alice, hey, we're here for you. We're ready for you. And Alice, and Alice comes with Noelle. I say it's Noelle. It could be pronounced completely different, but
It could be narwhal.
Somebody send us a recording, please. Send us a voice memo.
I just figured, like, that's how I read it.
Yeah.
But he's half vampire, half human. We learn he has other half vampire, half human sisters. But the girls are not venomous.
A century and a half old. He's older than Edward.
And they're like, he matured at 17 and he never aged anymore.
At 7.
Oh, I'm sorry, at 7.
At 7, he was full grown, whatever that means. Whatever full grown is.
I just go with 21.
Yeah.
I think full grown is 21. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't full grown at 21.
No, me neither. I'm 32 and I don't
30,
feel full grown most days.
I don't feel full grown yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm out here singing Grown Woman by Beyonce until it's time for me to like make my own doctor's appointment. And then I'm like, oh,
You're
where's
like,
my mama?
Or order a pizza. Thank you,
Yeah, right.
apps.
Yeah.
I appreciate you,
Or fight
apps.
the cable company.
Yeah.
You're like, Mommy.
I hate calling the cable company. Anyway,
I gotta
sorry.
get a plumber. Can somebody call the plumber?
We learn the girls are not venomous. They cannot create other vampires. However, Noelle can, and that their father is a vampire named Johan.
Johan?
Johan.
I call it Johan, right?
Johan. Could be
Johan.
Johan
Who's a sack
Sebastian
of
Bach.
trash.
Johan is trash.
He's
Trash.
a Rolling Stone just running
But can
around
I get
impregnating
Papa
people.
was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home.
And where he
All he left was half vampire mortal children.
exactly. But is he dead? I don't. He's not even dead.
No,
he's
not
just
even
creating
dead.
more
He's
of like
there-
the
'cause I
ultimate
feel
race.
like
That's his thing. He
Narwhal
wants to-
even says like, "Oh yeah, I met another sister like a decade ago." Like he's
Yeah, I
out
think
here
so.
doing
He's
the damn
trying
thing.
to create more boys. Like
Yeah.
he locked out with one boy, but he can't like force
He's over
that
here
boy
doing
to
a
be
fucking
into it.
Henry VIII situation where he's just gonna keep divorcing
Yeah.
wives until he gets another boy child.
And I'm sorry, Johan sounds like way more of a threat than the Cullens
Right?
ever
I know.
have.
I was like,
want a Johan.
he
Can
trying
I
to
get a
create a new
Johan
race
book,
over there?
please?
Yeah, and I'm
I don't
just
need a
like,
Renesmee Jacob book. I need a Johan book.
excuse me.
Girl, I wrote it down. It's in my notes.
So
I planned Stephanie Meyer's next 2 books, and then she had to release some news this week, and I was like, oh well,
of course.
girl, you want my outline because I can do this right.
Right.
I
Call
spent my
us,
whole
please.
summer so far
So what-
retwilighting.
What the movie did way better was this entire thing.
Okay, also, just quick side note. Yes, the movie does it better, but you're going to tell me that Narwhal and his auntie and this other, they speak English?
They
They speak English? They've been living deep in the Amazon wearing loincloths and somehow they learned English?
I imagine that Alice has just been making them say the same words over and over
That's
again.
what I imagine too. It's practice.
Yeah, and they're like practicing
Because she even says it's with a strange accent, right? So like,
Yeah, so it's like when you're traveling to a foreign country and you've learned how to order food and
Yeah,
those
like-
things and you're still not
Yeah.
good at it.
Bonjour, puis-je
Donde
aller
está la
au toilette?
biblioteca? You know, just like
Yeah.
over and over again.
Bonjour.
Ma cervezas por favor.
Mon livre. It's like, you know, that Hocus
Yeah.
Pocus when they're stuck in the school. Anyway, and she like comes out speaking French.
All right.
But
Yes.
the movie, I just remember being in the movie theater, not knowing what was coming. And the moment that Caius rips Carlisle's head off, I screamed.
Everybody screamed.
Jaws
The whole
dropped.
audience screamed, girl.
Everyone's gooped. No one. And then this amazing battle ensues.
People
Everybody
are running.
freaked
Werewolves are biting shit.
Seth
Heads are
dies.
getting ripped off. Seth dies.
Jasper dies.
Yep.
It's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing that ends.
And then Bella and Edward have their little great moment where they like tag team
Yeah.
like freaking pro wrestling.
It was
Kick
like-
his damn head off.
It was
And
the
you-
best thing I've seen up until the hip grab in The Last Jedi.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, girl. And like Leah sacrifices herself to save Esme. Like it's a great scene. And it ends with Arrow dying, getting his head ripped off, burnt at the stake, and then it zaps back.
It was
and you
just a
realize
vision.
it was a vision of the future. That Alice is like, this is what it would be unless you change course.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arrow's is like, so we can go home now.
Yeah.
You
Right?
have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone go.
Hush up,
please.
Caius. We're not doing anything else. And it's just like, it's so great.
And Caius is like, man, we can't do nothing.
I know. And Marcus is still like, I got out of bed for this.
Marcus had my best favorite death though, in
Yeah.
that entire thing. He's like, finally.
Which is like 2020 at
Yeah,
a
right?
max, you know?
2020
Yeah.
energy.
So I think in the end, I think that the movie is actually better than the book. Part 2 is better
Yes.
than the book.
Because, God, that was 70 pages.
It
of
was
just
so long of
Yeah.
nothing, and I appreciate Stephanie Meyer saying that ending was better than
Yeah.
hers, and she wished she had thought of it, but she was too busy wanting to protect her characters
Yeah.
and she just couldn't let herself do it.
Sometimes, and I obviously do not support J.K. Rowling any longer, but you got to pull a J.K. Rowling and just kill some people. Fuck it.
Oh my God, she was ruthless.
She was ruthless.
I can't even. It's fine. So then we get to our happily ever after, right? So they get to live in a beautiful happily ever after world. Bella figures out how to pull her mind thing from her head and allows Edward in, and he gets to see her thoughts from like the moment they met. Or like the first time she saw him and through their life. And I love the way they did this in the movie because you get the montage.
Just a beautiful like
I
montage.
loved you for 1,000 years.
I hate that song.
I hate that song too.
But it was so perfect in that
everyone
moment.
loves it.
I love that song.
People use it in their weddings all the time, and I'm just like, oh, can we not?
Yeah. I just have to say that like I can totally get behind like a Noelle Renesmee love story.
Right.
Versus,
I would much prefer that.
Is that weird? I mean, I know he's 150, but they're both like half vampires, and I can get into that.
We get this weird scene in the movie where it's like Jacob and Renesmee walking along the like.
Oh, because Alice sees the future of it, and it's gross. And I don't like that Edward's now like okay with it. And the way like she says it is it's because he can hear his thoughts, and he's never once had an inappropriate thought about her, and he just
still
wants her
gave
happy.
her a fucking promise ring.
Promise ring.
She's a
Wicked
child.
Nasty.
I don't care. It's grooming at the max, and I'm real uncomfortable with it.
I'm uncomfortable with it too, and I don't like it.
It'll never change.
But like Edward even has this weird off the cuff comment about how Jacob's not thinking about Nessie being full grown, which I just said, but then he's like, but in 7 years, and then he jokes about Noelle being competition, and I'm just like, can we not have it be
She's a child
competition right
can
now?
You stop talking about your child.
I kind of equate. I had this thought this week when reading this book, the imprinting to kind of be like betrothal, right?
That's what I felt like when we were talking about the promise ring. To me, it really reminded me of like a weird royal betrothal. Like I went through a historical fiction phase when I was younger, and it's like, oh, he, on his betrothed's birthday, he sent her a lovely diamond bracelet.
Right. Like in Sleeping Beauty, Aurora's my favorite Disney princess. Philip is betrothed to a baby, and he looks at her, he's like, oh, it's a baby. You know, and then they grow up and they end up together. So I'm like, maybe in a way that's how I can get behind it, but I just like...
It's still just very awkward.
It's
I don't
weird.
like it.
I don't like it.
It was an unnecessary choice.
It really was. And I get it, plot device choice. It was just a very poor one. I don't like it. But I would really hope that, in the 4-year flash forward book Stephanie Meyer's saying about doing is the Volturi Revenge, I would like that book. Give me the Volturi's Revenge.
Yes, I do kind of want to see... I want to see where the characters are now. I want some Volturi revenge.
Yeah.
I think 4 years isn't enough time for
I
me.
agree.
I need a further time jump. Yeah. That's what I want.
Before I knew this was happening, I was writing within 14 years, like, where are we going in this point in life?
Literally, it really should be like, it's been 14 years since Breaking Dawn came out. Let's just really jump forward.
Yeah.
14
and
years?
I would be 100%.
What year is it? 2020, 2006? No.
2020. It's only been 12 years.
Yeah.
2008.
Well, she said that these books aren't the front runners, so it could be 14 years from now. We don't know. We'll find.
I know, but like in my head, I was like, if we're gonna go back from like the first Twilight and the whole situation, this is where they are 14 years after they met. You know,
and I can get behind that. So as Bella says, like now no one's ever loved you more than I have. Guys, in this book series that we love, that no one else has loved more than we have. How do you feel about rereading Breaking Dawn?
I get why Eclipse was my favorite.
Samesies.
Yeah, I totally get why Eclipse was my favorite book.
I wish the back half of Eclipse and the first chapter, like the first section, 2 sections of Breaking Dawn were actually a book, because that would be my ultimate book.
Yeah. That would have been a great book.
That would have been like an amazing book, like a book that wins awards and gets adapted 90 million times. Yeah. But like Eclipse was rough in the beginning for me and then got real good.
Yeah.
And then Breaking Dawn was good in the beginning,
and then
it shit the bed for like these last, I don't even know, what's like 20 chapters? I feel like it was
so
a million.
Long.
It was so long.
It was so long. I'm sure this podcast is so long, and it's because this book was so long, but for no reason.
You know what this really made me think is that you do really have to take it as a whole series.
Yes.
Because each book has highs and lows, which I mean everything does. But like they have high highs and low lows, and when you take it all as a series, you get a good story over the series of 4 books.
Correct.
Yes.
And I feel
with some filler.
Yeah.
That
with a lot of filler.
With some packing peanuts that you're going to hate.
But the most filler came in this book.
Yeah.
In Breaking Dawn. That's where all this, I think the majority of the filler showed up.
Yeah.
And for the last book, that was so unnecessary.
I mean, there was a lot of filler in the first Twilight book for me.
Oh, absolutely.
I told you guys, it took me like a year and a half to read it.
It very much to me felt like binging Gossip Girl again, where you're like, oh, I really liked this show. And then because I did this during quarantine time, I was like, I remember loving this. It was my favorite show when it was on. And I watched it again and I'm like, okay, I like the big plot points, but there are a lot of filler episodes that I don't need.
It's so much like watching old anime for me.
Yes.
Right? Old anime, like, you know, we are turning Super Saiyan and Dragon Ball Z for like 3 episodes and no one's ass gets kicked. And you're just like, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this fight, Sailor Moon. Move on.
Right. Yeah. I love Sailor Moon. I have read the mangas multiple times. I have watched the original series. Queen. People hate Sailor Moon Crystal, and I'm like, I actually love it. I love Sailor Moon Crystal because I get all of the story without having to read the manga again and no filler.
Exactly. No filler. They killed it.
That's why Crystal's great.
I need Twilight Crystal.
Sailor Moon fans.
And I feel like that's what the movies tried to do, was give us the good parts, but they didn't do it well enough. Like, I love that you see, like, the Twilight Saga is a comedy, just, you know, and I'm like, sure. But yeah, I really hope we get our TV show.
Yes.
I really hope that, you know, we move on. Guys, I also thought of who I think should be Edward in our TV show. Ooh. I know, I did it. I don't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. But hold on. There's a new show coming out called Julie and the Phantoms. It'll be on Netflix. It's fantastic. And the kid who plays Luke should 100% be Edward. Anyway,
he's phenomenal. He's a little short. He's kind of titchy.
But that's okay.
He's a kid.
He's a kid. He's supposed to be 17, and he looks like he's 17. He's like 20. So, like, whatever.
We'll take it.
I'll take it. It's like something Garrett. I don't know. I should look it up, but I don't. We've been talking about this book so long. I just don't even want to.
Long. Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm ready to close the chapter.
I'm ready to close the chapter.
I've literally closed the book.
Midnight Sun.
Midnight Sun. Midnight Sun. I'm so ready, you guys. So next week, Midnight Sun, we're doing 7 chapters is what we're thinking.
Chapters 1 through 7.
We're going to break it up into 4 parts, 7 chapters at a time.
We haven't started reading?
We haven't started reading.
I haven't even opened it, y'all.
It's been
sitting on my table.
I didn't do it. I want to be surprised. Whew. So here we go. Midnight Sun next week, chapters 1 through 7. Join the convo. We're ready.
And until then,
fork off. If you want to know what the fork is up, head on over to our Streamer Links page at streamerlinks.com/smellslikeTeenAngst to follow all our personal social media and pages.